Welcome back. You're tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all your stock-related queries. And today we have Kunal Bothra as well as Gaurang Shah to help you better. But viewers, if you want to connect with us and ask your stock-related queries, then you can write to us on the WhatsApp number that will be flashing on the top of the screen throughout the show. And you can also tell us that which stock that you have already invested in or you plan to invest in, as well as you can also mention your buy price, and don't forget to buy your name as well onto the query, and we'll try to get as many queries answered by our experts today. But let's get started then, and a lot of queries have already started pouring in. And the first query that I have, Kunal, I'm coming to you for this one. This one is from Nikhil Sharma from Mumbai. He says that he has 50 shares of Coal India and his buy price average is close to 420 rupees. What to do with this particular counter, because given the move, the stock is now back to its cost price. Do you suggest to hold on, and any target levels that you have in mind?
Well, I definitely suggest to hold on to the stock. My sense is that it's come back towards a very strong retest of a support closer to this 400, 420 range. And I believe that even if there's a minor mean reversion process for Coal India, then the stock should be back towards 475 to 480, potentially over the next 1 to 3 months. So even if your time frame is say short-term oriented 1 to 3 months, I would suggest to hold on to the stock. But if you're a long-term oriented investor, and I would probably believe that it's a good time where you can to even average further, because the stock rarely provides that kind of a mean reversion or a retracement. And since we've got that for Coal India, I think this could be a very good opportunity for long-term investors.
Well, the next query is coming in from Navindu Sharma from Ahmedabad. He wants to know the short to medium term prospects, and when he says medium term, he means for the next 1 to 2 years when it comes to Fortis Healthcare. His buy price is 270. He wants to know whether should he book profits at current levels or should he continue to hold. Firstly, Kunal, coming to you on the short term prospects when it comes to Fortis, how is it looking on charts?
So it's looking very attractive. In fact, I think hospitals as a space or a sector, they've done reasonably well over the last 7 to 8 weeks. We've seen Fortis moving towards 700 plus levels. My suggestion is to try and trail the stop losses, because there are 2 points which have happened for Fortis. The trend is quite strong. The stock has hit fresh highs for itself. But then looking at the indicators on the weekly, monthly charts, there could be a tinge of overbought nature for these stocks, which has come back into these longer term uptrend. So what you can do is just hold on to the stocks as of now, because if these stocks continue to move up higher, then the pace of rally could accelerate significantly. Use trailing stop loss closer to 650, 640 on closing basis for Fortis.
And Gaurang, how are you reading into this company, Fortis Healthcare? How does this stock look like from medium term perspective for the next 1 to 2 years?
Well, I think the healthcare segment is a very prominent place wherein you need to see it with a different perspective. And my view is that if you're looking at pharma, then you need to look at healthcare, that is hospitals, and you also need to consider diagnosis sector, something like a Dr. Lal Path Labs. And we have to club these two with pharma because they are all interconnected with each other. And with the kind of performance and the numbers that are delivered, I think from a long-term point of view, we would definitely recommend a hold. And the kind of performance that some of these hospitals related stocks have done, I'll give you example. Take for example Apollo Hospital, take Fortis Healthcare, and one more, something like a Narayan Rudalaya. So we have coverage on all these three. If you are holding for long term, my sense is that it makes a lot of sense to hold it from a long term point of view.
All right, that's the take on the healthcare counters. But the next query that I have, Gaurang, is coming in on NHPC, wherein Pramod from Bangalore is holding 100 shares at an average price of 88 rupees. Is that a hold or sell at this price point? And if you have any targets on the same, Gaurang, and if you'd like to share it.
Well, unfortunately, we don't have coverage on NHPC and even likes of SJVN. Now, both these companies are into power generation, traditionally hydro. Government-owned companies languished at 30 and 40 for a pretty long period of time, and then because of the changes in the power sector and the policies, we saw them rally to the levels that we've seen them. As a sector, we are positive on the power generation sector, but since we don't have a coverage, I won't be able to give you a specific comment.
The next query is coming in from Siva from Chennai, and it's for you, Kunal. He wants to know whether should he book losses for Adani Ports because he's incurred a loss of nearly 28% in the last 6 months. He wants to know where can he invest this money in some other stock to recoup the losses that he has seen. His capital is close to 5.5 lakh rupees.
So I would believe that maybe holding on to the stock as of now could be a better strategy, at least over the very near term. The stock has, of course, corrected on the back of news flow, and the selling has accelerated in the last 1 week or so for Adani Ports. But then the longer term charts for the stock is quite formidable. From I think a low of 400 just about last year, the stock had climbed up to almost 1600. So maybe it's a mean reversion phase going on for the stock as well. My sense is that the stock should come back towards at least 1240, 1250 levels over the very near term. That could be a better level where you may look to exit. And if in case you're looking to jump onto some other sector, I think, for example, PSU space is something which I would believe that looks very attractive, especially the defense stocks, the PSU banking lot, the large cap names, SBI, Bank of Baroda, etc. And many of the other stocks like ONGC, Coal India. I think this could be a very good space where you may look to start buying into these stocks if you're a long-term investor.
All right, then moving on, and Gaurang, the next query that I have is coming in from Krishnan Rajgopal from Mumbai, and he wants your view on Tata Elxsi because he's already holding 50 shares and his buy price is at 9,500 rupees, which is very close to its 52-week high levels. Gaurang, a while back I remember that the discussions were on the kind of valuation this counter was holding to. But given the correction, do you believe that now maybe this is a time that when Tata Elxsi can perform better, and what will be your suggestion to him?
Well, so I think firstly a disclosure from our side, we have coverage on Tata Elxsi from a long-term point of view. Target is somewhere close to about 7,900. So it's a decent upside of about 18.5% or thereabout from current levels. Prudent for this investor to average at current levels because the acquisition price is far, far higher than what it is right now. And even the target price that we have is somewhere around that level. So I think and he's got 50 number of shares. So if you average another 25 or 50 at current levels, and if you have investable amount, you can possibly average more so that you can decisively bring down your cost of investment. And then from a long-term point of view, we don't think it's going to be extremely difficult for Tata Elxsi to reach to those 7,900 mark from a long-term point of view, and that will be a profitable exit, but prudent to average over here.
The next query is coming in from Venkat Rao from Visakhapatnam. He's a senior citizen and a long-term investor. He wants to know whether can he enter BEML and Bharat Electronics at current prices for the next 1 year. What would be a good entry point for him, Gaurang? Here?
So entry point will be difficult for me to comment. I think I'll leave it to Kunal to comment on that on the entry point. But let me give you a brief view on the sector, since we don't have specific coverage on BML or BML, we don't have coverage. Bharat Electronics, we do have a coverage. 334 to 335 is the target on BEL, Bharat Electronics. BEML, also a government company, which is largely in defense. And my view and my advice to this, and he's a senior citizen, importantly, we have to note that. So it's always prudent to look at strong names when you are of a particular age and if you are in that senior citizen category zone. Don't go in for some weak names just because you heard somebody advise you to do it. I think buy quality, don't buy quantity. Both these names are extremely strong. Their order book are much, much stronger than what it used to be. And their capability of executing the order book over the last 2 to 3 years has improved dramatically on the higher side, which translates into a run rate of better earnings with a clear perspective. No specific comments on BML, but it's one of the strongest company. But Bharat Electronics, BEL, we do have a coverage.
And Kunal, how is BEML looking like on the charts?
I think it's looking excellent. Both BEML as well as BEL is what I would recommend even at current levels. My sense is that the entire pack would start to get back into a zone of outperformance. So I think it depends on your time frame, of course, but as well as risk appetite. If you're a slightly low risk individual, then I would probably believe that BEL could be better suited. But if you're okay with slight bit of risk in your portfolio or stocks which pose slight bit of moderate to high risk, then I think BEML is something which also you can add at current levels.
All right, that's the take on both of these names. But Kunal, I'm once again coming back to you because there's a viewer named Manoj he's writing to us from Goa, and he wants a short-term view on Angel One. He didn't mention that whether he has, he already has these shares in his portfolio or want to buy afresh. But in the short term, where do you see the stock moving?
Yeah, I think the stock has formed a major support. So I think sometime back, just 3-4 months back, there was this retest of 2,100, 200 for Angel One. 3 to 4 times the stock had retested those levels, and from there on started a process of a major rally. Now in this phase of the rally, the stock has upped its support from 21, 2200 to now 2600, which is a formidable support for Angel One, which means that potentially over the next 1 month or so, if the stock sustains this 2600 levels, we could be looking at 3200 to 3400 as the next set of target for Angel One. So looks attractive.
Well, that's the view coming in when it comes to Angel One from Kunal. With that, let's slip into a short break and we'll be back and start addressing more viewer queries post that. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now. Well, the next query is coming in from Shivakumar from Bangalore, and he wants to know whether can he invest in Trent, Titan, or and Coforge for the next 3 years or any other stock. Gaurang, what would be your view when it comes to Trent, Titan, and Coforge?
Well, so out of the three, we have coverage on two, Titan and Coforge. Extremely positive on both these names. On Trent, won't give a specific comment, but I think it's been one of the best performer in the last maybe about year or year and a half, and continues to perform well on fallback of earnings. Won't be able to give a specific comment on Trent because we don't have a coverage, but yes, Titan and Coforge you can definitely buy for a longer point of view.
All right, then moving on, and the next query that I have is once again, Gaurang, coming from you, wherein Rajpreet from Ludhiana says that he's a big fan of yours, and he wants your advice on Asian Paints. He's holding 50 shares. His buy price is 2,600 rupees. That's a long-term bet for him. But what to do with this particular counter? Because of late, this stock has been hammered. But what's your overall view on Asian Paints? And is this a good stock to hold on for the long term?
Well, thank you to him, first of all, for all the kind words, Shrishti. So, there is a good old saying, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Before this particular correction, after a disaster set of numbers, couple of months back, I think it was about 6-8 months back, Grasim ventured into the paint sector with introduction of Opus. I remember Asian Paints being at 32 or 3,300 and then correcting to 3,000 and maybe 3,000. Below that also 2,700, 2,750. And then it recovered and recouped all those losses. What I'm trying to say over here, Shrishti, is there's a lot of competition, not only from Grasim, but I think JSW Group was also ventured into paints. So, but there is space for everybody and there is room for everybody. Asian Paint is one of the best performing stocks over the last many, many decades. It has given one of the stellar returns if you are a long-term investor. Not only has a power brands, but geographically, they are present in the local market as well as in the overseas market. So we understand the difficult times right now, but does it mean that a disappointment in one quarter should force you to take a decision in terms of exiting the stock? We don't feel so. So if you are there for long term, stay invested. If you bought it at higher levels, I think somewhere close to about 2,400 or 2,450, a little bit lower from where the stock is trading. Even if he's got a elevated risk appetite, I would advise him to average some quantity over here, not the entire quantity, but some 25-30% of whatever is holding. And if you get a stock closer to 2,400 or 2,450 below that, I think you can possibly go and average even more. But hold and average is what I'll recommend.
The next couple of queries are coming in, firstly from Venu, who's a senior citizen from Chennai, and the second one is from Subramaniam, who's also from Chennai, and they want to know, Kunal, your view when it comes to Nifty. They are asking whether can Nifty again test the 22,900 level? Has the bull trend now started? What is your view when it comes to the benchmark?
Isn't this the most billion-dollar question? Yeah, but I believe that at current levels, looking at the way the last 2 days have panned out for the markets, my sense is that we formed a major short-term bottom, at least for the near term. Now, we look at the factors, which are the factors which led to the market getting into a correction, and of course, first and foremost is the liquidity-driven factor. but that was driven majorly by dollar index moving up from 100 to 107, 108, which was the high the dollar index had made few days back. Now, good part about the market so far, or this asset class, is dollar index has started to correct from 108 to 106.5, 6.75 so far, which means that if this is a near-term trend and the dollar index keeps on falling, then our markets would keep on rising up higher. So I think rather than looking at this as a point where which level the index would typically form a bottom, look at this in a play which which asset class had led to the correction for the indices, and that was purely dollar index. If that index keeps on falling, then I would believe that a retest of the previous lows may not be possible. Look at the other way, that many of the large cap names, the market breadth was hugely oversold in the last 2-3 weeks from that last 8 week, 9 weeks of consistent selling for the markets. So which means we could be looking at a relief rally which may not just last for 2-3 days, but it could last for at least a matter of 2-3 weeks for the overall market. So I think in either of the context, I believe that a short-term bottom is in place for the index unless the dollar index starts to rise up higher and breaks past above 108 levels. I don't believe that a retest of the previous lows could be possible.
All right, then that's the view coming in on the markets then. But Kunal, I'm once again coming to you because this query is a short-term query coming in from Reshma Bhatia, who's holding shares of NMDC and now having a profit of 10%, but good to book out some profits or wait in this particular counter.
See, I would suggest to hold on to the stock as of now because largely the stock in the last 1.5 odd month has been more sideways. It's stuck around to this 200-day moving average, closer to 230-35 as a pivot for NMDC. My sense is that whenever the stock gets back into a trending mode, so once money moves back into the PSU names, I would believe NMDC could also come back into a breakout and end this phase of consolidation. And if that happens, we may see better levels for NMDC than what it's trading right now. So I think potentially keep 240 to 50 as a near-term target range for NMDC, and that's where you can look to revisit.
The next query is coming in from Smita Vikram from Bangalore. Now, she had invested in Paytm for a period of 3 to 6 months at a price of 781. She wants a target price on this, Kunal. Should she continue to hold this counter? Because I believe she's been sitting on a handsome gains right now.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at a short-term kind of a play, then I would believe 920 to 960 could be a good target range for Paytm. If it's purely a time frame of another maybe 1 to 3 weeks, you're looking out for. But then I think what you also have to look out for or be cognizant is that the stock is on the verge of breaking a major multi-month high, and the previous multi-month high for Paytm was around the 980 to 1000 mark. So if the stock breaks past about the 4-digit levels, I believe that there could be another leg of a very strong multi-month, multi-year uptrend which could re-begin for Paytm. So depends on your time frame and as well as your risk appetite. Short-term wise, 920 to 960 could be a target range where you can look to book profits.
All right, then moving on then, and the next query that I have, Gaurang, is coming in on IndusInd Bank, wherein Rajkumar needs your advice here. He's already holding 200 shares, buy price close to 207 rupees. What to do with this one?
I'm sorry, what was the name? I couldn't get the name.
IndusInd Bank is the stock.
I'm sorry.
IndusInd Bank is the stock wherein Raj has been holding shares from a price of 1207 rupees.
Is this IndusInd Bank,
Yes.
Srishti, that we are talking?
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
I'm so sorry.
That's
So yeah, I mean, a disaster in terms of numbers, Srishti, absolutely undeniable. And along with that, even Kotak Mahindra Bank for the second quarter was a disappointment. I'll repeat what I said for Asian Paints. I mean, there have been challenges for Kotak Bank as well as IndusInd Bank, as well, and even some of the other, as far as the microfinance, the MFI segment is concerned. This was a pain point in terms of a little bit of concern for the earnings that they delivered and the provisioning that they had to do. But most of the banks who had a concern with the MFI segment also mentioned that third, fourth quarter onwards, you are going to see a sizable amount of improvement in terms of recoveries, etc. So IndusInd Bank, from a long-term point of view, hold on. If you got in at maybe 1500 or 1600, if you have investable amount, you can use lower levels like this to systematically in part ways to average and bring down your acquisition price, but long-term hold on.
Right. The next query is coming in from Neeraj Verma. He's a senior citizen from Assam. He has around 175 shares of L&T bought at an average price of 3,645. Gaurang, what would be your view on this counter? Should he continue to hold this, hold L&T or sell?
Well, I will put it in a much more lighter note. Unless you need the money, don't sell the stock. And if you don't require money in your lifetime, you can gift it to the next generation. And the reason why I say this, because we've been covering L&T on the fundamental side for many, many years. And the best part about this stock is that not only it is a value creator, but it is also a wealth creator. How is it so? So after a brief period, the company comes out with an announcement of either dividend, a good amount of dividend payout ratio also, and periodically, as it is allowed by the regulation, they make an announcement of bonus also. So sometimes you have 1-for-1 bonus, or you get 1 share bonus for 2 shares held. After adjusting for the X bonus price in the next year and a half, too, you see the stock price again coming to the come bonus price. That's the kind of wealth creation that L&T does. Diversified book in terms of the businesses that they are into, and equally strong is the contribution from the different business verticals that they operate to the balance sheet. And defense is going to be a big, big game changer for L&T as we go forward from here on, along with, of course, the other business verticals that they have.
All right, that's the day coming in on L&T, and we also had one of the other viewers named Vimala Nanda, who had a similar query on L&T, whether this is a good stock for the long term. And Gaurang just said that it's the stock that you can really pass on to your generations. Just buy it right now. But with this, viewers, we are completely out of time. And thank you so much, Kunal, as well as Gaurang, for joining us today, as well as helping all our viewers resolve their stock-related queries. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break yet again. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Time to wrap this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Thank you so much for tuning in.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.